In this beginner-friendly ClickFunnels tutorial, I will show you how to create a survey, aka quiz in ClickFunnels, with different types of questions and actions, how to add it to your funnel, customize the look of your survey, and where to see the results. One thing before we get started, if you don't have your ClickFunnels account yet, use the link in the description of this video to get your 30-day trial instead of a regular 14-day trial and our ClickFunnels course as a bonus. Now let's dive in. The first step for us is, of course, to create a survey. If you don't see the Survey Workflows app on the left here, click this button, Add Apps, then search for Survey Workflows and click this card. After that, click Add App. Enter the name of the survey and click Create Survey Workflow. I will close this window for now. Here we see a board where we can start creating our survey workflow. The way surveys in ClickFunnels work: we create our survey here, we add our questions, answers, different actions, then we add a survey element to the funnel page or any other page that you create in ClickFunnels. It can be a landing page and a site. Then in the settings of the survey element, we define which survey workflow should be shown on the page. Now let's do all of that step by step. Usually at the beginning of your survey, you would request some contact information, like a name and an email address. To add this action, click this plus icon. Then you can either go with input and email, or you can select the contact information. If you want to have an input for the first name or last name or the full name, you can select this type of question, and then in the contact attribute dropdown, select what information you want to receive. The easier way is to select Contact Info Type. In the Details section, you can update the title and add some description. For example, we can write something like "Enter your contact information." And in the Configuration settings, you can define what information you want to request. I would like to have a name field and an email field, and I will not request a phone number. So I can just toggle this off. Then click Save Changes. And just like that, we have the first step in our survey added. Now let's add different types of questions. Again, click the plus icon, select Add Question. If you want to add a simple, single select question, you select Choice here. In the headline, enter your question. If you need, you can also add some description or additional information to this question, and then go to the Configuration section. In this case, we will not allow multiple answers because we want to have a single select question. We also will not enable other choice or contact attributes. And in ClickFunnels, you can also enable scoring and assign different scores to the answers. If you want to learn more how to work with scoring in the surveys in ClickFunnels, watch the tutorial by clicking on the card up here. And last but not least, we need to enter answers to this question. In the options, click Add Answer, then enter the first answer. To add another answer, again click Add Answer, add your second answer, and do the same for other answers that you want to have for this question. You can also rearrange the answers by using the icons on the left here. Just click and drag the answer where you want to have it. And if you don't need this answer, you can remove it by clicking Remove. When you have all the answers added, click Save Changes. Now we have our single select question added to the survey. Now let's add the second question to our survey in ClickFunnels, and this time we will have a multi-select question. Click the plus icon, click Add Question. We have choice selected here for multi-select question. In the headline, enter your question. If needed, you can also add some description. If you want to have a multi-select question, in the configuration, you need to toggle this setting on, Allow multiple answers. And then we go to the options and enter the answers to the question. To add another answer, click Add Answer. And click Save Changes. Now let's see how you can add a condition to your quiz in ClickFunnels. Click the plus icon and then select Add Split. Then click this icon and select Add Rules. Click Add Rule. You have different conditions here based on the answer of the contact, the score, and the contact information. As I mentioned before, I want to redirect people who selected the first answer to the previous question to a specific URL. That's why we select Answer To, then select the question, that was the previous question, and then I select Is Equal To and Answer 1. Click Save. Now we actually need to add an action. What happens to people who selected answer number 1 to this question? To do that, we click this icon once again, click Change Target. Right now it's End Survey. There are also Redirect and Go to Question. And what we need is Redirect. Click Submit. To add the link where you want to redirect the contacts, click this card and paste the URL. So once again, when somebody selects answer number 1 to this question, we have this condition here, they will be redirected to the URL that you pasted in this card. Now let's see what happens to other contacts who selected other answers and not answer number 1. Let's say we want to ask them additional question. We go to this part of the workflow, click plus, then click Add Question, and let's this time use an input question. We select Input in the type, then in the headline enter your question. I don't need to change anything in the configuration because this question doesn't have anything to do with contact attributes. Like I showed you in the beginning, name, first name and email address. So I just click Save Changes. And another feature that you may want to use in your survey in Clickfunnels is adding different actions. To do that, click this plus icon. We have already looked into the questions, split or conditions, and now you click Add Action. As you can see, there are a lot of different actions that you can use for your contacts who are going through your survey in Clickfunnels. Let's say we would want to add a tag to the contacts who selected any answer but answer number 1 to this question. To do that, I will select Add Contact Tag. In the action, we have Add Tags. Then in the contact tags, you can either select from the tags that you already have or create a new one. If you want to create a new tag, you just enter it and then click Enter. After that, click Create Action. And now here we add a rule. We want to have the condition based on the answer. Then we select the question. And in this dropdown, we can select Does Not Equal and then answer number 1 and then click Save. If you want to delete the survey step, just hover over the card and then the cross icon will appear, and by clicking on it you will be able to delete the step. Or you can click on the icon with 3 dots and then select Delete. You can also clone questions in the survey, rearrange them, and if you need to edit something, just click on the card and it will open the settings of the question. With that, we covered different types of questions that you can use in your survey in Clickfunnels and how to build the survey workflow. The next step is to add a survey element to the funnel page and connect the survey that we have just created to the survey element. To do that, go to the funnel page where you want to add a survey, or as mentioned, it can also be a landing page or a site, then open it in the page editor. Click Add New Element and search for survey. You will see a sample survey. It's not your survey. To add your survey, go to the settings. In this dropdown, select the survey that you have just created. And another important setting that you can add already in the beginning is the survey action. What happens when the contact finishes the survey? In the On Finalize dropdown, select what should happen to that contact. Usually you would redirect them to the next step in the funnel, but you can also select any action that you can see here. If you want to redirect them to a specific page, you should select Go To, and then you will be able to add the URL of this page. I will do that. And last but not least, you can also adjust the survey end text. Now let's see how you can modify the look of your survey element. We have a lot of different settings here. You can adjust them to your liking, and I will also make a few changes so you see how it works. For example, if we look at the survey element here, I would decrease the font size for the questions, also change the color for the progress bar and for the button, and decrease the font size for the labels here. Let's open the settings again. First we go to the settings of the question. I will decrease the font size. I think like this works better. We'll keep the same color. Also we'll decrease the font for the answer. Answer color stays the same. The hover settings are relevant for the questions where we have to select a particular answer. They're not relevant for the contact information. And if you're adjusting the color of the hover background, let's say you want to make it yellow, make sure that you also adjust the text color so it's visible on your new hover background. For example, if you use a yellow hover background, the color of the text also should be darker and not white. Then I want to change the color of the progress bar. I go to the background color, click on it, and I can select the color that I want from recently used or enter the hex code of the color. I will use the orange color that I have on the page. You can also adjust the color for this section, for the incomplete part of the progress bar, but I will keep it like this. And I also like to have rounded corners. Then I want to change the color of the button. We go to the button section, click on the background color, and again I will use the orange color. The text size is fine in my opinion, so I can proceed to the input settings. Here I would like to increase the font size, so the input is a bit bigger. It will not look like this, you will see it when we preview the page. By the way, if you're not happy with some of the changes, you can always undo them by clicking this icon. You can also play around with the margins. Let's increase the top margin a bit, like this. Padding and other settings that you can see here. I already have a background for the column that you can see here. That's why I will not adjust any background settings. I don't need a shadow, border or corners. That all is set up in the column settings. And as mentioned, you can play around with different settings, adjust the look of your survey, and see what you like most. So let's sum it up. We created a survey workflow in Clickfunnels, then we added a survey element on the page where we want to show the survey. In the settings of the survey, we connected the survey workflow that we created. Then we also set the survey end action, so what happens to the contacts after they are done with the survey. In my case, they should go to the Clickfunnels website, and we slightly adjusted the look of the survey. Now let's save the changes and test our survey. To preview the page, click this icon. I will quickly enter the contact information and then we will proceed to the questions. Now our actual questions and answers look like this. I can go to the next question. If you remember, we set up a redirect for this question. If somebody selects answer number 1, let's test if it works as expected. I am redirected to the Clickfunnels website. The way I set it up, everything is working fine. So this scenario of the quiz in Clickfunnels is working as expected. And by the way, the contact information that I entered in the first step will also be stored in Clickfunnels, although I didn't go through all the questions in the questionnaire. And now let's test a different scenario where we select a different answer, not answer number 1, and we should go to the next step in the quiz. I will quickly enter the contact information. That's our single select question. That's a multi-select question. I select any answer but answer number 1, which would cause a redirect. Then we see an input question. And I click next. The end action that I set up in the settings of the survey element is go to the Clickfunnels website, and that's exactly what happened. By the way, in the second scenario, my contact also should receive a tag that we created in the survey workflow. Now you may be wondering where will you see the answers to the questions that your contacts submit. If you go to the Customers, Contacts, you will see the contacts that were created during the survey. For example, that's the second contact that was created and it also got the tag assigned. Then if you click on the name of the contact and go to the Marketing tab, you will see the survey section here. And to view the answers to the questions of the survey, click on the name. Here you will see the information when and if the survey was completed, and below you will see answers to the questions. That's how easy you can create a survey in Clickfunnels. If this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to not miss our future tutorials.